Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Creating Wealth with our amazing mentor, Robert Allen. How are you doing, Robert?
Awesome. Awesome. When you have wealth in your life, everything looks different, you know?
That's right. And we are super excited to have you as our mentor. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to find like a real estate mentor that can truly help us go further in our investment career. So, first of all, what's a real estate mentor?
It's somebody who knows what they're doing because they have experience. They've made all the mistakes that you don't want to make. They can tell you immediately, don't do that, and immediately, yes, do this. Whereas if you're brand new, you read a book, you make assumptions about what would work and what doesn't work, but you can't put it all in a book. It's you can get yourself started and motivated by reading a book, and that's good. But eventually, you need to have somebody who is doing it in your city or understands the general principles from vast experience. So when I got started, that's exactly what I did. I found somebody in my church group who was a multi-millionaire. I actually went and drove. I was in Utah at the time. Brigham Young University, BYU, is where I just graduated from. And my mentor owned a whole bunch of apartment buildings in Southern California. And I said, I want to go look at them. So I literally got in my car and drove, 8-10 hours. And I looked at his apartment buildings. I saw what he had done. I just wanted to get, I wanted to get the feel that it was real, that it wasn't theoretical. And so I kicked the tires, as they say. I was very impressed with what he'd pulled off. And then when I came back, I said, Paul, I need help. What should I do? Tell me exactly how to look at deals. When I find a good deal, can I show it to you? Will you tell me yes or no? And the answer is yes. So I spent maybe 6 months with him, and he never charged me any money. I was helping him on a project he was doing. So he says, you help me on my project, I'll help you on your project. And so I didn't have to pay him any money. Ordinary people, if you don't have somebody like that in your local community, somebody that you can go to and ask for advice, find somebody. Frankly, just look out, find out who is in your local area that you can talk to. There are a lot of investment clubs, frankly. Most cities have a RIA group. That's the Real Estate Investment Association, RIA. So in maybe 40, 50 of the major markets in the United States, there'll be a RIA group. So I would encourage you to join one of those groups. Now, those groups were originally formed by me.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
They were called RAND groups, R-A-N-D, RAND, Robert Allen Nothing Down. And so when we did our huge seminars, people would come to our seminars and we'd say, here's a local investment group that you can join. And so, but eventually we graduated into a more generic form. So all the other seminar groupies, kind of gravitated to these groups that are available all across the United States. So you can find people who are doing it in groups like that. But for me, it was somebody that was in my church group, and I said, I want to be like him.
That's amazing. And yeah, it's really cool that real estate, I feel like it's such a cool game of investing where you always have the help of someone and they can truly further your career. So what are some of the characteristics that we should look for when we're looking for a mentor? I think that you mentioned a couple, but what are some other ones?
Experience, lots of experience. The more experience, the better, frankly. Be careful because sometimes people have not done very much, and then they reach out and try to find you maybe at one of these groups that you go to, and they want to, charge you some money to be a mentor. And so you need to ask about their track record. What have you done? Show me the deals that you've done. Like in my case, my mentor, I drove and looked at his deals. I knew he was the real deal. And he was a multi-millionaire. And so I knew that he had that experience. A lot of people are trying to generate some extra revenue. They've got their deals, but they don't have a lot of cash flow from their real estate. So they hire themselves out as a mentor. It seems like it's pretty prevalent these days, but be very careful. If somebody hasn't done 100 deals under their belt, you probably shouldn't be working with that person.
Yeah, that seems like a really big red flag for me. So, what
Yeah.
other red flags should we watch out for?
I want somebody who is ethical, who is, and you could tell by the way they talk. Are they a win-win person? If they are talking anything that's unethical by saying, we'll hoodwink our buyers, we'll go around the back door. If they're saying anything that's unethical, not honest, not moral, frankly, and a lot of people they just don't have moral compass. So if they're going to teach you anything that's illegal, unethical, or immoral, if they even hint at even their languaging, just stay away from them big time, because the government has ways to kind of spot the people who, the Bernie Madoffs out there who take people's money and then rip you off. You just got to be careful. Right. You can follow your intuition, but get a hit intuitively. Does this person seem like an honest, ethical, moral person?
And I feel like that's also a big no-no, because if these people are being dishonest when they are making deals with other people, like the sellers, how can you be sure that they are not being the same way with you as their mentee?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's amazing. And what are other of the red flags that you have seen within your career that some fake mentors are showing?
Well, they start you off by charging you a little bit of money, and then they want to, if you want the real deal, it costs a lot more money, and that's okay. That's okay, frankly. That's the way kind of like the model works. But if they're not a giver, if they're really not really interested in helping you, that they want to see you succeed. If it's all about the money, you can tell. Just say, keep looking. Let's put it that way.
And that's one of the good characteristics that I found on really good mentors like you, that you guys are always willing to help, because I feel like the success of a mentor equals to the success of the students.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And I feel like in your career, you've had so many students that have been super successful with all their deals.
Yeah. One year we had somebody in my seminar operation who told us that we were rip-off artists.
Oh my God.
He said, you can't do what you're teaching people to do. It's impossible. He had tried it and he had been discouraged and disappointed. And so he threatened us, he said, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I'm going to expose you to the world, that what you're talking about doesn't work. But my partner at the time, who was a manager of all my businesses, he was just infuriated by that, because how dare you question our integrity? How dare you? So he formed a website called the Millionaire Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Yeah. And so one year we had all of our students, and there were several thousand of them that year, that whenever they did a deal, they would go to the Millionaire Hall of Fame and they would put their success story up there. So because of this one guy who was pretty negative, my partner Tom generated thousands of success stories. Wow. And not only that, we would have these little 90-day challenges, and the 90-day challenges, people would come in and we would teach them what they needed to know for 90 days. 90 days they'd have to report their progress. And how many offers did they make? Did they buy a property? Did that property have equity in it, like more than what they bought it for? Was there a profit in that? And we generated close to $2 billion worth of profit from our students. This was not gross revenue. This is a 1 point X number of billion. That's $1,000 million worth of profit. And we did it in all kinds of ways, multiple streams of income. Real estate, there were like $890 million worth of profit from real estate. Oh, wow. There was businesses, there was network marketing, there was internet marketing, there was stock market investing. My book, Multiple Streams of Income, teaches all of those methods. Mm-hmm. So we wanted success stories because of this one guy. And Tom was so upset with this one guy that he says, I am going to prove to you that not only do we generate success stories, but we generate thousands of success stories.
Oh, wow.
One of there were like couple of thousand people who posted their success stories that year. The 273 millionaires, and so many others with 500,000 and 250,000, 100,000, but 273 millionaires. Just from that one year. So when I say that I've generated through my teachings and my students thousands of millionaires, oh yeah, thousands of millionaires.
That definitely shows. Yeah.
All over the world, because I've, over the last 10 years, I've been speaking in China and Japan and Australia and South Africa and Russia and England and Latvia and all over the world, teaching the same fundamental principles, because entrepreneurs are everywhere, right? So obviously you can tell I like to mentor people. I like to coach people. If you're not in my sphere, if you're not in the close proximity of where I'm at, obviously you can find ways for us to mentor you one-on-one with my team, with what I teach. But if I'm not the guy that you want to mentor with, you can find somebody. You'll find somebody. Just go out and find somebody. Join a group, ask around who's mentoring, who can mentor me. Sometimes people will do it with absolutely no cost whatsoever. They'll just help you. Just if you don't have a lot of money, that's probably the best option.
That's right. And I feel like also having a mentor is kind of like having a more experienced set of eyes that is truly going to guide you through some of the mistakes that you need to avoid and some of the paths that are going to take you faster to your goals, such as investing in a couple of properties.
Yeah, my first real estate deal was mentored with my big major mentor. But then I started to get cocky. Oh. I made money on that first deal, and then I put it into a 7-unit apartment building and made money on that. And then I had some little extra money, and I'm now being more independent minded. And that's really, if you want to ask me what's my biggest fault as a human being, it's that I am independent to a fault. I want to do it by myself. And this is wrong. This is wrong. And in my career, I've learned that mistake, because you get mentored a little bit and then you start feeling like I don't need those people anymore, right? So you go into other areas that you don't have a lot of experience in, and it goes into the internet, for example, or information marketing. There are all kinds of multiple streams of income. So every time I go into another stream of income, I want the best person in that category. Right now, NFTs, and crypto. What do I want to just go in and buy some crypto and hope that it goes up or down and learn how to do it? No, I want a mentor. I want somebody who knows how to do it. And when it comes to NFT, I'm still looking for that right person on NFTs, and I'm searching. And when I find that person, I'm going to pay that person. I'm going to say, help me not make the mistakes that millions and millions and millions of other people have made, because I want the best of the best. So that's my pattern. Whenever I go into a new stream of income, who is the best at that? For example, when I was going into the internet, this was 20 years ago, when the internet was just exploding around the world. I wanted to be part of that game. As a multiple streamer, you want multiple streams of residual income. That's income while you sleep. Therefore, it requires, as you go into a new stream of income, it requires a total different system. So real estate, the system is pretty fundamental. It's how do you find deals? How do you fund those deals when you find them? And then when you find them, what do you do with them? Do you flip them? Do you farm them? That means do you get rents from them? How do you make money from them? Those are the three fundamentals. And every book you ever read, you're going to read those three fundamentals, basically. I want to find somebody who's really good at finding deals. Now, Chris Crone and myself and our team around the United States, we are geniuses when it comes to finding deals nationwide. Chris and his team buys, a property a day, every day, every day. And as I bring people into, the buying of real estate, if you don't have the time to find deals, we've already found them for you, and we can put you into those deals. But so you could be what I call a passive investor, where you are making money because we find the deal, we partner with you, we want to make sure that we win, you got to win, and when we win, you win. However, some people, that just rubs them wrong. They just don't want to let somebody else do that. Most people do, but there's a group, then I would put myself in that group. I'm an independent-minded person. And my mentor, Stephen Covey, I'm talking about mentoring, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a close friend, a mentor. And what he said to me was, there are 3 stages of maturity: dependence, independence, and interdependence. And I was stuck at a fault in the independence mode, which means I want to do it by myself. I want to do it my own way. I want to be independent. I want to be free. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. This is the way entrepreneurs think a lot of the time. And this is classic stupidity. Because, okay, you want to be free, but you want to be free so that you create wealth for yourself. You need to be free enough to take advice and to be interdependent. That's the ultimate stage of maturity. When you're interdependent, that means you're doing what you're good at. This person does what he or she is good at. You form a team of people. These people do what they're great at, and then you do what you're good at. That's why in my partnership with Chris and the team here at Up Life, they are good at what they do. They are the best. Marjorie, you're on that team, and you guys are the best of the best. And I couldn't do what you guys do, but what I can do, I'm the best in the world at it. But it's very narrow, and I had to learn the hard lessons. That was very expensive to go out to start building businesses on my own, to build it as an independent-minded person, to realize that I'm not good at most of the things that business people do. I called myself an entrepreneur for many, many years, but that was really not true. I'm really not an entrepreneur. I'm a teacher. I like to teach. That's what I do. I'm the world class at that. But I have a team who puts all the other pieces together and makes our entrepreneurial operations work. So I would say to our beginners here, especially if you're a beginner, find a mentor, find the best. If you can't afford them, figure out a way to afford them. Because I'll tell you what will happen. If you're an independent-minded entrepreneur, you'll make the mistakes I did. That means you'll eventually buy a property like I bought. I was out there running around looking for property. I find a property that's in the middle of the country, outside the city, and it's a beautiful little vacant lot. It's right on the country road. I'm thinking, what a beautiful place to build a house. This is great. Can I make money on this? So the owner says, yeah, this is a great deal. It was 100 feet wide and 1,356 feet deep. Now, a normal lot in a city is going to be 100 feet by 100 feet, 100 feet by 120. This is 1,300 feet deep. Now, you know what he told me? He says, this is perfect for an airline pilot. They have their little airline, little puddle jumper plane. They land in the back of the lot. They could, putt all the way up to the house, and I bought the dream. It was a total lie. It was ridiculous. I didn't bounce it off anybody. I didn't check the zoning. I didn't check whether or not it's really possible to land an airplane on that kind of space. And once I dumped all of my profit into that deal, nobody was going to buy that lot.
Oh, wow.
Nobody bought it. So eventually I had to sell it at a huge loss. And it's because I'm thinking I'm smarter than I am. And guess what? Everybody, you think this way. You're smarter than you are. You need to have another set of eyes on what you're doing. They need to look at what you're doing and even what your vision or your future is. Tell me what your plans are. And you tell them your plans. Like with our coaching programs, you're one-on-one with people where somebody can literally, you can ask them all the stupid questions. Because believe me, there are a lot of stupid questions. And the most stupid question is the question you don't ask somebody else's advice on. That's a stupid question, where you make the decision based upon your own lack of experience. So this is a very important session, this segment here, this podcast. It's about don't make that mistake. It's just silly. It's stupid. It's you end up making a mistake, like on that lot I bought. You lose your money. If I just shown it to Paul, my mentor,
He
Paul,
probably would have been like,
yeah,
nope.
Paul, what do you
Don't
think
it.
of this? What do you think of this? First of all, he would have said, "Don't buy land. Why are you buying land? Land doesn't
house.
have generate any income. Not smart. No, don't do that." And then, what is it? What is the comparable properties around it? What is it selling for compared to other properties? I didn't make any of those decisions. I just, and this is my biggest fault. Now, I learned that lesson. It was very expensive to learn. I learned it in other ways in my career too, where eventually I go, I need to belong to a mastermind, or I need to belong to a group of people who are like-minded thinkers, or I need to mentor with somebody one-on-one. These are just absolutely essentials. And you know what I find when you do? Recently I've joined several masterminds. I'm the dumbest guy in the room. I'm not the least famous guy in the room. I'm the most famous guy in that room. Most of them are there in the room. I went to an event just recently. There were 100 people there. All of them knew me. Most all of them had my books. Most all of them have been to my trainings. They're saying, "Robert, what are you doing here?" Well, there's new ways of doing things. There's cutting edge ways to get to the top of this mountain. There's brand new ways of uncovering lead generating deals. How do you find deals that nationwide that are invisible? How do some of these guys are buying 2, 3, 4, 500 houses? How are they doing this? Like Chris, Chris is doing that one a day. Well, for me, I realized that I was the most famous guy, this guy that sold more books, but it had been 10 years since I had been really aggressively into the marketplace. I'd been traveling around the world, speaking in China and Japan and Russia, teaching them multiple streams of income. But here in America, while I was gone, things change. You have new ways of getting to the top. So find a room where you're the dumbest person in the room. Even if you're smart, even if you've got a high IQ, these people will have experiences you don't have. And eventually you'll learn from them, and you'll learn, it broadens your thinking. You start thinking bigger than you ever thought before. You thought, if that person can do what they're doing, boy, I can do at least twice that, and that's why you need to be part of some kind of mentorship relationship.
That's
all right?
True. And I feel like that's one of the biggest takeaways that we can take from having a mentor, that a mentor can truly give you the experience that you're lacking, and also can help you have a better vision.
Bigger vision, bigger thinking.
That's true. A bigger vision of the opportunities that you have to invest in deals.
That's
Thank
right.
you so much again, Robert. And we're super glad to have you as our mentor. And if any of our audience also want to have Robert Allen as your mentor, feel free to reach out, and he's more than happy to help you with it.
Yeah, you and I work together. Let's make some money together.
Let's do it. See you on our next episode. Bye-bye.